welcome anyone. There are already a lot of people. Great, great, great. For now, what will happen is we have a list of questions that users already asked. So Matas will directly answer, and if there are any new question, you can write it directly on the Telegram channel.
Okay, one more minute.
Yeah.
So, okay, we maybe start now, because anyways, this MA will be recorded and published on YouTube, so everyone will be able to listen to that. So we maybe start from a little introduction about the project from representative, the Matas. Maybe a couple words about the team behind the project, and we will then proceed with the questions that was sent before. And if we will have any additional time, we will grab new questions from chat, and yeah, the team will answer them. So, Matas, please, it's your time.
Thank you. So yeah, it's great to be on this session. So I think we can begin with a brief introduction on what is AlfProtocol, and as you mentioned, a team behind it. So to provide a simple explanation, AlfProtocol is a DeFi protocol based on the Solana blockchain that connects all sorts of user bases with different risk appetites into one big all-in-one DeFi protocol. So basically, at the moment on Solana, especially if you want to do certain DeFi services, you have to go through multiple protocols. So for example, if you wish to do a simple lending or borrowing, you have to go to one protocol. If you wish to do yield farming or leverage yield farming, you have to go to another protocol. So what Alf is doing, Alf Protocol is building all-in-one solution for all DeFi services into one big protocol, creating some of the unique features that are not available among different DeFi protocols. So in simple terms, users are able to deposit and find an investment product no matter what kind of a risk approach they are into. So if you are a bit of a more risk conservative person, you will have a product to choose from. If you are a bit more aggressive and you seek for a bit more risk, like higher risk, higher rewards, you will have the product as well. So it's an all-in-one solution, as I mentioned, to deploy capital on a Solana blockchain. If we speak about the team, at the moment we have over 15 people working on a project, including developers, and a bit of a more about their experience. I myself, I hold over 8 years of experience in the financial markets as a full-time trader and fund manager. And next to that, I've been into crypto for the last 5 years myself, and I've been interested in the latest things are brewing on the crypto market ever since. So things like, of course, DeFi, currently NFTs, metaverse, all of the latest thing, new blockchains, new technologies is within my point of interest. I'm not the biggest fan of Bitcoin, to be honest. So that's about me, our CTO, Ginto Test. He holds over 15 years of software development experience. And out of those 15 years, quite a few are from the blockchain development and blockchain architecture. And the rest of the team, including developers, we do have two development groups. So we have one which is in-house developers, our own uh, developers team, and we have the company from Pixelplex. They are a very well-known uh, developers company, especially blockchain development company based in the Eastern European. So it's a very well-known company, and they are helping us the development as well, especially the MVP development, because we want to release the product as fast as possible and in the best quality possible. So that's why we use them for the kickstarting of the development. And then once the MVP is ready, and it's almost ready at the moment, we will switch to our in-house team that will take care of the rest of the features and the rest of the development. So that's a bit like a brief introduction into Alf and its team.
Okay, great, great. Thanks for the introduction. And we let's move to the question part, and maybe we'll start with some general questions we have received from our users. And the first question would be, where does the word ALF name come from, and why did you choose it? Any secret behind it?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, originally, if you look at the white paper, you will see the very first sentence says that AlfProtocol is an interstellar liquidity protocol. And the reason behind the whole interstellar thing and AlfProtocol is because the whole team, I, I mean, at least I myself and our CTO, we're passionate behind the crypto stuff. We are passionate about stuff and and different things about the universe, stars, galaxies, and all of the cosmic cosmic things, like in a way. So it just naturally popped when we've been looking for a name for the protocol, how to name it. The word called alpha, and the alpha has lots of different meanings, but within the universe stuff, um, there is a certain stars named alpha, galaxies and stuff, etc. So it just naturally we thought about it, and it just became like Alf Protocol. Like it just sticked with the name, and it sounded quite well uh, with, within the main theme of the protocol. So we just very quickly and very naturally popped into our heads, and we just stick to it. So I believe it's a great name, and definitely serves the purpose of the whole protocol.
All right, all right, all right. That's I think that's a quite good answer for the question. I'm checking through other questions. Any motivation behind the project when you started? What did you motivate you to choose to work on such a project?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. To be honest, me and the rest of the management team, like our CTO, our marketing, CMO, we've been fans of DeFi almost from the very beginning of DeFi. And I myself, coming from the financial markets trading, DeFi is been and is a very interesting solution for the whole financial markets, especially within the crypto space, because before that you used to do like a simple buying and holding, or simple active trading, like short-term trades, etc. But DeFi actually created and opened a way more solution and accessibility, sustainability within the financial markets. And now users can actually be their own uh, they can work and function like a bank using crypto and blockchain technology. So it's been super interesting ever since it's been created in a way. And I myself been a pretty early buyer of the whole Solana token as well. And I actually really loved the concept and noticed that the Solana blockchain and the ecosystem is expanding so fast and so rapidly. So I've been in discussions with Gintotas, our CTO, for quite some time. We've been looking for ways to actually enter into the ecosystem, because the whole Solana just feels like naturally super like cool blockchain to work with. It's very modern, it's very fast, it's very, I mean, a lot of opportunities for growth, and expansion wise, it's been super hyped. Maybe now, I mean, when the market is not in the greatest shape, I mean, different layer one blockchains are a bit of a more into the um, shadow, but it's definitely going to come back. And Solana itself offering such a great opportunities to build. And basically, after using some of the different DeFi services myself, different DeFi protocols on different chains, including Solana, I simply noticed that there are quite a few ways how we can improve. And knowing the fact that it's still pretty early and not a lot of different well-known protocols are being released on Solana, we are able to simply log a very early and decent spot within the ecosystem. And being able to provide an all-in-one solution, like a homepage for all DeFi, I believe that being as early as we are is definitely an advantage and a great way to actually kickstart the whole product for the long-term perspective.
Okay. I read through the questions because there is another question. It's also similar to your this answer. Why do you believe in launching IDO when the market tends to fall now? I mean, particular dates. Are you not concerned about the whole the market situation?
Yeah, definitely the market situation is not within our side at the moment, and most of the projects is also experiencing a bit of negativity based feedbacks. But to be honest, too much of the stuff and development is already done for us to delay something, to postpone something. And one of the key arguments that they always provide to such question is that we are launching the product, the MVP of the ALF protocol, pretty much equally with the IDO, which is a pretty rare thing within the market, because most of the projects, they are raising money and doing the IDO first, and then they develop and launch the project like months in, into the future. While Alpha Protocol, the MVP part is pretty much done. I mean, it's being done this week. So we're gonna launch the MVP moments after the IDO, preferably a week after the IDO. So the MVP will consist most of the key and top priority features, the whole lending borrowing section, the whole leverage yield farming section, etc. So only a few more features will be left to develop after the MVP. So I would say this is the biggest argument why we are still convinced to launch when the market conditions are not the greatest, because we do have a strong product and the product is almost ready. So I would answer the question in this way.
Okay, very interesting. Alex need to do something, so I will ask other question for you. The simple question is, what is your business plan for Alf Protocol?
Okay, I mean, for I would I believe the question is more about how the protocol will make some sort of income and revenue.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, so I mean, we do have quite a few places from where the protocol will take a certain fee and earns a percentage. So these, I mean, include things like and fees from things like earn interest from the users, borrowing rates, liquidation penalties, and liquidation bots, the performance fee for from the yield farming, etc. So basically, it is definitely a well combined structure of the whole revenue sources within the protocol. So we do have like a certain list on how the protocol is going to actually sustain itself and earn income on top of it. And being a DeFi protocol that provides all DeFi services into one solution is definitely, there are quite a few ways on where and how we can actually grab like a little percentage and like a little fee from users that are using the protocol. But it's important to mention that at least for the launch stage, because later all of the parameters will be decided by the DAO itself, but for the launch stage, I can assure the users and community that the fees for the protocol will be the lowest among the competition, like local competition on Solana, because after doing the competition analysis, we actually noticed that some of the protocols are actually very crazy within the fees. They're charging so much from the users that it's actually, it doesn't make like too much sense. So for our perspective, I mean, there should be a win-win situations everywhere. So that's why, for, at least as I mentioned, for the first part of the protocol launch, the fees for using the services and how we gonna make money is definitely gonna be the lowest among the competition. But later on, when the whole DAO is created and structurized, then certain changes can happen, but that will be not controlled by the centralized team like it is at the moment.
Okay, understood. Um, I think a lot of people didn't know how work leverage system. So maybe can you explain a little bit how it's work, what we
Yeah,
need to do? It's user friendly, for example.
absolutely. The leverage part is in a way the most exciting part, but at the same time, it can raise lots of questions, especially if you look at a website where it says a leverage up to 200x. So it can trigger some people, but we do have a solution on how we're going to manage the leverage part. So from the basic perspective, and from the user perspective, what you have to do is simply within the allotment alpha protocol, which is a simply borrowing and lending service, your deposited assets will be automatically calculated to provide you a maximum possible leverage, like a credit line for the protocol to use. So when you deposit some assets into the protocol, no matter what kind of assets you deposit, all of the supported coins, I mean, you can deposit different coins, but all of that will be converted into one number based on the deposit. And then within the alpha leverage section, where you're able to do yield farming from different pools and use leverage on top of it, you will be simply by clicking open the position, you will be able to choose the leverage, and you will be able to see how much of leverage and how much in depth you can actually go based on your deposits and collateral. So for the launch stage, for the MVP stage, we're going to have a limited leverage available, maximum leverage up to 6. And of course, it's all going to be dependent on the liquidity of the protocol. So if there is no enough liquidity, there will be not possibility to use higher leverage. But for the later stage where the big leverage comes, it's definitely a high risk approach using high leverage. It can provide great benefits, but at the same time, the higher the leverage, the closer your liquidation price is. So what we done, we came to the solution that we will have our own automated bot that will be tracking the maximum possible leverage for each pool based on the historical price movement of that pool. So if, for example, we have a liquidity pool with the tokens that are actually been super volatile in the past, in the last 24 hours, in the last 7 days, etc., then such a pool will not have the possibility to use high leverage because it's just too volatile and the users risk to have liquidations like momentarily. So only those pools who are a bit more conservative and does not move as much on a daily basis as the rest will have the ability to use high leverage. Next to that, how we're going to control the use of leverage is also via the loyalty tiers. On a protocol, one of the unique features of the protocol is the loyalty tiers. So the more ALF tokens you have staked within the loyalty tier system, the higher the loyalty tier you will be able to achieve, which will give you access to higher leverage. Also, other features like delayed liquidations. So in case your position becomes eligible for liquidation, if you are higher within the loyalty tier, you will have more time to actually save the position by depositing like more collateral. Also, one of the features will be better borrowing rates and of course high leverage. So not everyone on the protocol will have access to high leverage. You will have to earn it through different loyalty tiers, and even if you have access to high leverage, the maximum possible leverage will be dependent on the volatility of the market conditions and those coins of the pool itself. So I believe I explained pretty clearly. If there is any additional questions on how the leverage is going to work, feel free to ask. But I can assure you that upon the launch, within our documentation, there will be a very informative video format, um, educational material explaining each button and each functionality within the leverage and the rest of the protocol. So users coming to the protocol will have full understanding on how what kind of things they can do and how to actually do those things. So yeah.
Okay, really interesting. It can be quite complicated to understand, but I think most of people now can understand. And of course, if you don't understand, you can write some questions.
Definitely,
Uh,
anytime.
yeah. So the next question will be about the benefits of investors. If investors so stake your token, what is the benefit for them in the long term, and why they will do it?
Yeah, I mean, for the token, for the project itself and the token itself, is important to have some sort of a utility and use cases. Most of the projects within the DeFi sector, they have a token, but the token is only used for rewards. And in most cases, it's just never ending selling pressure for the token. For AlfProtocol, we're actually developing and trying all sorts of things to avoid that. So one of the ways, of course, if you don't have any ALF tokens, you pretty much don't have access to the protocol itself because most of the features will provide you better rates, better conditions for the protocol to use if you have some ALF tokens. So it's definitely much needed for the long-term perspective if you wish to get access to all of the best possible rates and best possible services on the protocol itself. Also, for a long-term perspective of holding the token, like besides staking it and having access to rewards and having access to loyalty tiers. We are already in talks with some upcoming partnerships because what we want to do, we want to get ALF a bit of a more widely spread over across the ecosystem so that other protocols can accept ALF tokens as a collateral or as a use case for their protocol as well. So we are already in talk with one of the gaming protocol. So they will most likely, if everything goes as planned, they will be able to accept ALF in their system for gaming as well. So definitely quite a lot of use cases we're trying to develop for the token itself, just to avoid it being a simple reward token and that always goes into the selling pressure. So also a thing important to mention is about the inflation of the token. For the first stage, uh, as you can as you saw maybe, or if you haven't, you can check it on our website. In the tokenomic side, the total supply is 10 billion, and this supply will remain at 10 billion. And that only in the worst case scenario, if the inflation is needed and more token is needed, only then we will introduce the inflation at first point. But we don't expect to have a requirement for a token inflation within the first 36 to 40 months. So that's quite a good period of time where no additional tokens will be added. So, I mean, to answer in a simple way, we are doing everything at our hands to develop as much use cases as possible that avoid selling the token, but actually incentivize users to buy the token and use it at our protocol and partners protocol as a point of collateral or some benefits, like additional benefits and bonuses. But of course, most of it will be determined by the market itself, by the market conditions and users, active trading from different speculators, etc. So we will do our best to maintain it and to provide value and utility for the token, but we cannot be the market. So whatever market sentiment is, we will, I mean, all projects have to flow with it, but definitely from our side, as I mentioned, I mean, I'm repeating myself now, we will do everything we can to provide as much use cases that does not involve selling the token for rewards as possible. So that's the answer, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. And maybe let's talk a little bit about the security. How do you ensure the safety of your platform? Any major steps you did to provide the security?
Yeah, to be honest, DeFi protocols and security are two things that have to be massively combined. So a very simple step is definitely audition, and we're not gonna stop at one audit company. For the MVP release, we're gonna have one. So the moment we go live on the mainnet, because we're gonna do some private devnet testing before for whitelisted people, so everyone will be given access to the protocol to try it out on their own risk on a devnet. Then we're gonna launch the public testing also, and when we have all of the data, we will do the audition at one company. We have quite a few in mind, but definitely, I mean, we will not release the protocol for the public if there is no audit on it. But once the full protocol is going to be launched, we're going to have another company auditing the protocol, sorry, as well. So besides making sure that the protocol is safe to use from the audition and stuff, the Solana blockchain in particular is pretty safe by nature. So it's a bit of an easier job for us to make sure it's secure. But we all know that Solana likes to go offline, and go a bit of a dark. So what we're gonna do in these occasions, we're gonna implement as much messaging as possible for the users. If the Solana blockchain become congested, if the transactions become slow and even fails, and maybe even if the whole blockchain gets halted, what we're gonna do from our side, we're gonna inform the users right away on the pop-up notifications and multiple messages across the protocol that Solana is slow, it's stuck, it's whatever. So please, I mean, give it some patience. But at the same time, if the users have already open positions and maybe even with leverage, if the blockchain becomes slow and congested, it's definitely a risk for them not to get out at a certain price, etc. So from our side, we're gonna implement a certain bots that will be monitoring the situation of the speed of transactions confirmations on a Solana. So making sure that the protocol and the user does not risk some sort of a unexpected loss, and also to make sure that the transactions are fast and confirmed at the earliest possible time. We're going to run our own node as well for the blockchain itself, so we get first for the confirmation on the blockchain itself. So definitely within the point of security of the protocol itself, audition will be done in multiple firms. And at the same time, if there are issues with the Solana itself, for the moment there is, then we will try to inform the users at the earliest possible opportunity by different messages that please, I mean, give it some patience and know and expect some of the failing transactions, some failures to happen because the blockchain is congested. So I mean that's I would say the top priority things in terms of security of the protocol.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have other questions, maybe not. It's related more with NFTs. If there is a plan for which investors can probably provide liquidity, borrow funds, and yield farm with their NFTs on your protocol? If yes, how will this NFT be evaluated?
It's a definitely interesting question, but at the same time, it's difficult to answer because at the moment, using NFTs as a collateral of some sort or like a liquidity, like borrowing stuff, etc., is definitely within my point of knowledge is not actually possible because you cannot give value to the NFT, at least at the moment. So I would say we are not considering to have NFT solution as a so as a form of a payment, as a form of collateral within the protocol, unless some sort of a different kind of NFTs arrives and it provides such an opportunity for the protocol to use, because for the current stage, current condition of the whole NFT market and what's being developed in terms of NFTs on Solana is definitely not effective, I would say. So at the moment, not considering such features unless some sort of a new generation of NFTs would be created.
Okay, okay. All right, all right. So let's move on and talk about marketing. Um, More about your marketing plan in this bear market. Uh, what are you planning to attract more people to your project? Yeah, can you answer that?
Yeah, to be honest, I think there should not be in a way like a worry or being scared of the bear market. And if there is bear market, you have to do something different within the marketing, or if it's a bull market, you have to do something different as well. You have to do what you are willing to do to improve and continuously develop the protocol, no matter what market it is. It may be a bit of a more difficult within the fundraising and users being confident enough to actually deposit money into the protocols. But from the marketing perspective, um, I would say I myself and the team values the most transparency and education. So most of the DeFi protocols are not transparent at all. I mean, you will never know who they actually are, uh, the team behind it, the whole transparency within the development project and progress, etc. So at our protocol, as you can see, everything is pretty transparent as much as we possibly can do at the current stage of the project. So transparency and regular updates for the community is definitely one way to go to attract people. But at the same time, educational part is as important because within the DeFi space, there is not much of a simple and understandable education on how to actually use this DeFi protocol. Because if there is someone completely new coming to the protocol of a DeFi, it's definitely not the easiest job to figure out what to actually do here, what kind of things you can do, and how to actually get started. So our main goal is divided into two ways. I mean, the first one is the inside educational material for the protocol itself. So when a new user comes to the Alf protocol, they will see the educational part with all of the buttons, all of the features explained in a video and text formats. So you know exactly what you're doing and how to actually do things and how it works. So it's definitely important that the user can learn and apply the knowledge on the same protocol that you're learning from. So you don't need to go to different places. Like, for example, if you're learning from YouTube, then you have to go ahead and find the protocol to try your knowledge on. So with Alf, everything will be in Alf, made by Alf team, and you will be able to apply the knowledge right away. And the second point is the public marketing within the all of the most popular streaming platforms, YouTube, uh, IG stories, TikTok as well. I mean, all of the use, all of the most popular platforms, if we can convince the users that DeFi is a fairly simple and safe to use and deposit your capital into these protocols, then I believe we can attract quite a good chunk of users for our protocol as well. So for a marketing perspective, beside education and transparency, the last thing we are focusing the most on as well is the partnerships, and especially the partnerships with the multi-chain expansion. Because if we have a friend and partners at different chains, it's easier for us to actually move to the chain and become a cross-chain of a protocol. And at the same time, it's easier to attract a bit of a new community for the project as well, because maybe someone from Avalanche or Polygon may be interested in trying out Solana, etc. So expansion within the partnerships within the ecosystem locally is also important, but at the same time it's as important to expand multi-chain as well. So to summarize the marketing perspective, partnerships, educational section as much as possible and as clear as possible, and being as transparent as possible on the whole stage of the project. These three things are the way to go for us.
Okay, okay. This is it for the questions that was asked earlier. We can now move to our chat questions. So if anybody has questions, please ask. But for now, I will just randomly take one question that is maybe it
I have
wasn't
one.
answered.
I have one question from the chat. I think that's our customers and users want to know about more your team experiences. So where they come from, if there are any experience with derivative and finance platform.
So as far as I understood, the question is about the team experience, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before at the beginning, the whole team combines a multi-year experience within their own fields. So I can go ahead and give a bit of a more detailed, maybe. I myself, as mentioned, 8 years of financial markets, trading, business development, and a capital management experience, and over 5 years of the cryptocurrency, trading, portfolio management, and building within the crypto space as well. Our CTO Gintos holds over 15 years of experience in software development, and if I'm not mistaken, 5 of them is within the blockchain architecture and development as well. So he is the cool guy for the whole technical related stuff. Our chief marketing officer, Carol, is has over 5+ years experience in marketing and sales, and over 2 years of experience in investments and investor relations. The key point about our development part is the Pixelplex company. They are in since 2013, and they help giant businesses, startups to unleash their efficiency within the secure blockchain solutions. So they're focused on the blockchain development since 2013, and they are one of the biggest and well-known companies within the Eastern European and among the whole Europe as well. Also within the technical side of the project, economical side, etc., we have a great advisory team from the Byzantine Solutions, and the Byzantine Solutions are is a fintech and innovation lab company working with state-of-the-art technology to empower advances in a way that finance works. So they've been helping us with the white paper writing, with some of the tokenomical part and economical business of the project. So the whole team is definitely within super high competence in their fields. So we are super confident that, I mean, it's been going great, and we are super confident that it will remain in such a way as well. And as I mentioned, equally with the Pixel Plus developers, we are already formed and onboarded our own in-house developers team. So they are also learning day by day and improving their knowledge within the blockchain development. So we are confident enough that once the project is finished within the development side, they will be able to go ahead and take care from there and continuously develop, improve, fix, and maintain the protocol itself. So the team already registered to multiple the hacker houses for Solana to go ahead and start utilizing the knowledge, applying the knowledge, and learn even more at these events. So, in summary, I mean, the team is as strong as it can get, and the whole people behind it is definitely have enough competence within the sectors to actually do things and achieve what we plan to achieve. That would be the answer for the question.
Alex?
I was thinking you asking the question. So the question is regarding ambassadors. As ambassadors play a very important role in every project, do you have any ambassador program? If yes, how you can join one?
For the moment, we do not have an ambassador program, but definitely we heard about it, and we are in a way discussion within the inner team, the management team, if we actually need one. So if there will be any kind of announcements regarding to the ambassador program, we will definitely let everyone know within our social media channels. But to simply answer the question, at the moment, we do not have the ambassador program.
Okay. So next question will be: will AlfProtocol will be integrate? Will AlfProtocol integrated insurance with their platform?
Speaking about insurance, there will, at least at the launch stage, there will be no possibility to buy like a third-party insurance like we can see on some of the protocols. But from the whole perspective, insurance isn't something critical for the product because the deposits, the withdrawals, I mean, is everything at the blockchain, and anyone can see the balances, anyone can see the accounts of the treasuries of the protocol at any given time. So if we're speaking about the insurance from the liquidations and stuff, then there is no such a thing within the DeFi leverage deal farming provision But one thing that we're gonna have on the protocol itself to minimize the risks for liquidations and losing capital on a position with leverage will be the, in a way, stop loss feature, that when you are opening the position with leverage, you will be able to set a certain loan to value ratio on when you want your position to be slightly closed automatically, just to avoid the liquidation. So this will work in a way as an insurance for the user, because if originally the liquidation happens at 85% or 90% of the LTV ratio, you can set your stop loss to, let's say, 75 or 80%. And in case those assets are, or your collateral assets are dropping down, you will be able, if it reaches the set stop loss limit of 80%, for example, a small part of your position will be automatically closed by our bot, and it will basically save you from being liquidated um, at your position. So it's in a way an insurance, but it's not that insurance that people are thinking when you see different third-party insurance programs on different DeFi protocols. So for the launch stage, we don't planning to have that, because even seeing from the competition side, it's not something people actively using. So yeah, I mean, if we see enough demands, or maybe the DAO later on will raise the question if the protocol should implement such a feature, then maybe yes. But for the beginning, we don't think we're gonna need one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So maybe in the future you can have third part, but right now, what we understand is you don't have any insurance for the trading part and the leverage part.
Yeah, I mean the insurance, as I mentioned, on a leverage position with the stop loss order is in a way
Yeah.
what you can call as an insurance to stop from a potential losing position, but there will be no insurance at launch for the things that you mentioned, like the bots and and other stuff. Yeah, but maybe in the future, if we see like enough demand or people been starting to ask, or a worst case scenario, we see a potential risk on the protocol, then definitely it's something we will implement. But from the competition side, it's not something super popularly used, so maybe it's not something very much needed for the launch stage.
Yeah. Understood. I think it's already 50 minutes, so I will ask a last question, and I think we can finish on this. If so, what about Solana blockchain? Why choose Solana blockchain in another one?
To be honest, the key idea why Solana is because our product itself, we developed the idea first, and then we saw which blockchain to choose on develop to. So basically, the Solana, first of all, because we are providing leverage, so the orders and the transaction has to be super quick and at the same time super cheap. Yes, there are multiple blockchains offering cheaper and faster transactions, but the whole expansion and rapid growth of Solana actually made me simply like it just like was a natural decision. Let's build on Solana because it's super cheap and super fast. At the same time, it's super early. We were able to lock a decent spot within the ecosystem at a pretty much early as possible time. So we just naturally came to the decision that yeah, I mean Solana is something that it's easy to build on, it's easy to start building on, and provides all of the requirements for us personally that we need for the protocol to function well. So this is like the main reasons I would say.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can stop here. If we can take maybe a last, but I think it's most of the question are already answered, so all is okay. About the giveaway, how you want to do it? Do you want to choose yourself, or maybe we can you can choose two person and I can choose two always on my side. Up to you.
Uh, I think that the best way will be if you guys do two people and I will do two as well.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we can do it now on a call or on a chat. How would you like to approach?
Maybe on a chat, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can do after after the session finishes, we can, I will reply to the best questions that I think are, I mean, was the best, like in terms of the session, and then you guys can do too as well, and then we will ask for the wallets, and we will distribute the rewards for them.
Great. Great. So we can wrap this up. So thank you, Matas, for your time. I hope all the best for your project. Just to remind, Launchpad starts in 3 days. Yeah, if I'm
Yep,
correct. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Once again, thanks for your questions. If anyone will have any additional questions, you can ask in our chat or in AlfProtocol chat as well. So yeah, thank you all, and have a good weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for all the questions. They've been really n- like good questions and much needed questions. So it's been a great session. Wishing you all the best the rest of the weekend. And yeah, thank you again and bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.